If true, this changes everything for the New York Knicks, as a major update has been revealed about one of the New York Knicks' key players who was breaking out, but unfortunately went down with an injury, and now Tom Thibodeau has given a huge update into all of this, and this will have a huge impact on the team come the NBA playoffs, as the Knicks are fairly short on big men, and we are going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're driving to work and you want to watch these Knicks videos, or if you're on the train and you don't want to look at your phone so you don't miss your stop or something, because I've definitely done that, you could follow us on Spotify and listen to all of our videos there as well. And also, guys, we're closing in on that 13,000 subscriber mark, so make sure to subscribe. If you're driving to work, Spotify's the thing to use, because then you won't crash your car trying to look at this ugly face. And if you don't subscribe, then bad luck might hit and you might crash your car anyway. So you might as well subscribe to Knicks Digest. But now that all that morbid stuff is out of the way, let's jump into the video, because this guy right here, blocking this shot, Ariel Hukporti, one of my favorite New York Knicks, one of your favorite New York Knicks, one of everybody's favorite New York Knicks, because the man showed up and basically gave us all the reminiscence of Isaiah Hartenstein that we lost when Hartenstein signed with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Was playing absolutely phenomenal basketball once Tom Thibodeau finally decided to let Ariel Hukporti play basketball. I mean, it was a shocker that happened. Most of the time, if Tom Thibodeau sees a rookie, he just throws up and runs away. However, eventually, after multiple injuries and Jericho Sims getting traded, the New York Knicks allowed Ariel Hukporti to step on the floor, and once he did, man oh man, did it instantly become special. You could tell that he's got a very bright future with the New York Knicks in the NBA, and likely will be a key center for the Knicks for the next decade to come, as he does everything right already. Yes, he was having some trouble guarding the pick and roll, but he did figure that out very well, and now Hukporti was really figuring the game out well, getting over 10 minutes per game for a bit of a stretch until he went down with a knee injury that ruined all of our lives, when Hukporti ended up tearing his meniscus. Now, a meniscus tear in itself is not the worst thing in the world. You usually miss 4 to 8 weeks. It's usually a 1 to 2 month injury. Now, sometimes if it's mixed with a bone bruise, things can go wrong, like if you're Lonzo Ball, who ended up missing 2.5 years because of a torn meniscus and a bone bruise. But that's not what happened to Hukporti. He just came down wrong, tore his meniscus, got it surgically repaired days later. And then it was revealed that he would need an update later on. But now we have that update from Tom Thibodeau himself, as Christian Winfield mentioned that Tibbs said that Hukporti with his torn meniscus in his left knee is doing a little bit more on the court, and Hukporti has been out since the injury on February 26th versus the Philadelphia 76ers. He's the only other true center on the roster after Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, and that's where things become very interesting, because it's very obvious what's going to have to happen in the NBA playoffs. Not Landry Shamet. Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson are going to end up starting together. It's clear the Knicks defense needs Mitchell Robinson to be at its very best, and the Knicks want their best defense possible when they're starting. And on top of that, with Josh Hart being kind of not wanting to shoot any threes, we're seeing teams put their opposing center on Josh Hart and just completely leave him wide open. And that's just killing the 5-out offense. So the Knicks have two choices. Complete the 5-out by playing Deuce McBride in that starting role. And yes, Deuce is going to be back by the playoffs. He'll be back well before the playoffs. And your other option is you start Mitchell Robinson, you bring an elite defense, and still have a great 4-out system where Karl-Anthony Towns plays very well as not the true center. Towns has been very open about that he's better as a power forward, and unlike when Anthony Davis says it, Towns is correct about it. Towns is built to be a power forward. He's a great shooter, the best shooting big man in basketball, arguably in basketball history. On top of that, very versatile, and is a solid perimeter defender. That's what people don't get about Karl-Anthony Towns, because the whole argument is, well, Towns can't play defense, and yeah, he's not a good defender. I'm not going to sit here and say Karl-Anthony Towns is a good defender. However, he is a solid perimeter defender for someone who's not expected to be one. Look, Towns is very smart on the ball. It's his low block defense is just not there. He doesn't really have a good job. He's just not good at doing it. I was trying to find a nicer way to put it, because I do obviously root for Towns. I'm a Knicks fan. I want Towns to succeed. But he's just not a good low block defender. His perimeter defense is solid, though, and you can hide Towns a little bit more when you have Mitchell Robinson just on the floor covering for him, because you have Mitch's defense. But there's kind of the thing. What do you do when Mitch comes off and then Towns is burning and you don't really have another big man? Are you going to play Precious Achiuwa, who has not been playing well recently? Or are you going to look towards the rookie in Ariel Hukporti? Now, the likelihood is that it's going to be Precious Achiuwa. Let's be real. let's be real with ourselves. It's probably going to be Precious because that's how Tibbs is. But it should be Ariel Hukporti, whose perimeter defense is very good and his low block defense is even better. Meanwhile, he's an excellent passer and looks at the rim when he gets the ball. It's been Dariel's biggest gripe with Precious Achiuwa is the lack of him looking at the rim, and he's absolutely right about that. I mean, the fact is, if you're an NBA player, you should be looking at the rim and you should be willing to try to score the basketball, and Achiuwa looks very nervous out there, especially now that he's in and out of the rotation due to Mitchell Robinson being back and coming off the bench. It's kind of killed Achiuwa's minutes completely. And, well, if Mitch starts to start games in the playoffs, then Achiuwa is going to get those minutes back. However, it just should be Ariel Hukporti. Yes, Achiuwa's a bit more versatile positional-wise, but Hukporti's just better. Like, he's just a clearly more talented player who's smart with the ball, makes great reads, excellent high-post playmaker, very good at taking the ball at the high post, driving in and scoring and drawing fouls. He's been very successful. Now, his minutes have been limited all season, and it's meant his numbers are not the best. He's putting up 2 points and 2 rebounds per game, shooting 67% from the field, but all this is limited because he only got a few games in where he was getting serious minutes. He had a 3-game stretch where he was getting solid minutes, but in the NBA G League, we saw him way more confident where he just was. This was earlier on, too, because he's been with the Knicks for a while, but he did show up in 7 games for the Knicks G League team this season. It says 4 down there, but also the tip-off tournament, he had 3 games as well. And Hukporti, over the time in the G League, has averaged 7 points and 7 rebounds per game, also blocking 2 shots a night and shooting 48% from the field. Also, just not the greatest field goal numbers, but he is willing to shoot the ball very often, so that's kind of what causes that. But Hukporti's clearly wow, holy speech impediment right there. He's clearly very talented, and where you stand with Hukporti is you want your best version of your team out there, and it just truly feels like the Knicks had a better version of their team out there when they had Hukporti playing because he gives you more playmaking from that 5 spot when Karl-Anthony Towns is off the floor. Towns has been an excellent playmaker for the Knicks this season, and it kind of gets overshadowed because of the scoring, and he's only averaging around 3 assists per game, but the playmaking is very solid from Karl, and Hukporti gives some of this. It's similar to Isaiah Hartenstein in a lot of ways. They're very similar people, and I'm not just saying that because they're Germans who wear number 55 and are left-handed. Both of them genuinely are good high-post playmakers. Hukporti's taken a lot from Hartenstein's game. The two know each other quite well. Hukporti was excited to be drafted by the Knicks because he thought he'd be teammates with Hartenstein. Obviously, that didn't work out. Not mad at Hartenstein for that. He made the right move for his money, is what it is. You can't really hate. But when Hukporti got consistent minutes, he was putting up 5 points and 3 rebounds with 1 assist per game in the 3 games that he played before going down with the knee injury against the Philadelphia 76ers, where he had played 16 minutes in the first half before hurting his knee and not coming back. They said it was a sprained knee. Obviously, that was not true. It was a torn meniscus, but they didn't know that at the time, it seemed like. So in that half, he put up 8 points and 2 rebounds per game, shot 4 for 5, or 8 points and 2 rebounds in the game, shot 4 for 5 from the field. Very good numbers. And for his entire time over that 3-game stretch, we saw him average 17 minutes a game. As I said, put up 5 and 3 with 1 assist. On top of that, blocked a shot per game and was also shooting 87.5% from the field. I understand it's limited shot attempts. In total, it's 8 shot attempts. But still, it's something to be happy about, that he's taking shots when he knows he's going to make them. He's being smart about it. He's not going in there and trying to shoot with a point to prove or anything like that. He's shooting smart shots. Outside of that, he's there to play defense. He's there to get rebounds. He's there to make good passes from that high post area. He gives the Knicks a bit more spacing than other centers do, considering like Mitchell Robinson, for instance, and even Precious Achiuwa. So it is important to note all that. He's also quite confident in himself, which is helpful as well. The Knicks need Hukporti to be their best selves, I truly believe, and it is going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, look, taking a dive into what Ian Begley mentioned when Hukporti got injured in the first place, he said that he would be missing 4 to 6, or would be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing successful surgery on the torn meniscus. That was now 3.5 weeks ago. So sometime this week, we're going to hear a more official update on Ariel Hukporti and what he's doing. Not just that he's doing some reps on the court, which is great, obviously, but we're going to see how things progress. And once he's a month out from that surgery, we'll know more about where he is and if he's going to come back. The NBA season's not over yet, and the Knicks are dealing with a bunch of injuries right now. I mean, Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride both out. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson not playing back-to-backs. So Ariel Hukporti is a very important part of this team now, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Hukporti and his game, and if the Knicks are going to give him burn. I mean, my guess, as I said, probably not. The Knicks likely are not going to be playing Hukporti when he comes back. That was my guess as well. When I made a video on the Hukporti injury last month or whatever it was, I mentioned that's probably his season being done, because unless he comes back before the regular season and there's injuries and just a need for another center, then likely Hukporti is just not going to play, because it's hard to imagine Tibbs playing a rookie coming off an injury in the playoffs. It just goes against everything Tibbs stands for, which is not rookies. So you kind of figure out that where it goes. But some rookies do break through if you're good enough, considering Emmanuel quickly was able to break through. Obviously a much different position, but IQ was able to break through on Tom Thibodeau as a rookie. So there is a world where if Hukporti shows enough promise and enough of all the good things that Tibbs wants out of a center, then yes, he could find himself getting some minutes in the playoffs. It'd be limited, probably like 8 a night at most, but it depends on also how Precious Achiuwa is playing and which one Tibbs wants to go with when ultimately Mitchell Robinson does start games in the playoffs. Guys, let me know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, guys, and go Knicks.